Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll help the channel out and it'll get you more videos like this. Let's get to it. Am I the beehole for telling my roommate that she's not my mother? Throwaway, and fake names because I know for sure at least one person involved is on here. Before I continue, this is not the person. You know, people do the throwaway and all that so they don't get caught because someone's on here. But wouldn't someone come across this and be like, hey, this kind of sounds like us? Is that you? I don't know. But back to it. I, a 24-year-old female, live with my best friend since high school, a 25-year-old female, and her old neighbors, Teresa, a 42-year-old female, Christian, a 45-year-old male, and their three kids, Faith, a 15-year-old female, a 12-year-old male, and an 8-year-old female. We are in a 6-bedroom, 3-bath, oh, that's a pretty big place, house in Oregon. The main issue is that we just went through. I picked up a second job as an overnight server about 5 months ago because Teresa had an unexpected medical emergency that almost completely drained her savings. She sat my friend and I down after it happened and asked us to pay a portion of her rent/utilities until she can get our finances back in order. Neither my friend and I were very stoked about this arrangement. But it was supposed to be temporary. Doing these 12-hour shifts at the company my friend Christian and I are at, then going to do the server job has messed up my sleep schedule and left me almost no free time. After working 2 weeks straight between the two jobs, I got home a couple nights ago, having just finished one of my 12-hour shifts. Thankfully, I was off the next day and just wanted to get some food and go enjoy my liquor mini fridge in my room that I keep my alcohol in. Teresa confronted me as I was in the kitchen about how I didn't help around the house much anymore. Well, yeah, she's working 12-hour shifts on 2 jobs. And I needed to step up my household contributions or she'd be looking into getting me off the lease and giving away my room. Girl, she's threatening you and you're paying for her, like half of the rent. She can't do it by herself, and does she really think the next person, if she finds someone to come live with them, is going to be like, oh yeah, I'll pay for your chunk of the rent? That's wow. Okay, back to it. Teresa obviously didn't appreciate me yelling at her and told me I was being a brat. Okay, says the 42-year-old who has to rely on the 20-year-olds to pay the rent because okay, whatever. She said that it wasn't her fault. I was working so... Yes, it freaking was. Holy crap. So much, and that she's asking was that I clean up after myself and not leave my things all over the house. Here's the thing though, I don't leave my things all over the house. Faith has a tendency to just grab things without making sure they're hers. I've had to invest in a lock for my door and cameras in my room because so many things were moved or taken. Teresa then told me that maybe I'd have more money and wouldn't need to work so much if I didn't spoil my brother so much. No, you wouldn't need to work so much if she was pulling her weight financially. I'll admit, I do spoil him. As I said earlier, I send him little gifts and messages and things like that all the time. I miss him a lot. I basically raised him because of our mother's alcoholism. So I mostly do it so he knows that I'm thinking of him. This is when I lost my temper completely, which to me personally is very understandable. She's bringing your family into it, but okay, let's get back to it. I went off on Teresa and told her that just because she's being a controlling bee like my mother, that didn't make her my mother. Yeah, she's like the age, she's old, she's 42, something like that. It's not that old, but you know what I mean. And that she doesn't get to tell me what to do with my money. Very, very true. Especially when my money is what's currently keeping a roof over her kid. Oh, I forgot, she's the one with the kids. She has these kids and her kids' heads. We ended up getting into a screaming match that woke up Christian and my friend. The kids were at their grandma's and now we're not speaking. I feel like Teresa has way overstepped, true. Frankly, as long as I'm coming up with my portion of the bills, I don't feel like there's any of her business what I spend the rest of my money on. Am I the beehole? OP, you are 100% not the beehole. It's like you said, you're paying your share of the bills. She's dead weight right now. I like how she tries to threaten you like, oh, she'll have you, kicked off the lease and all that. Screw her. You should do that to her. Kick her off the lease. She brought kids and what is she doing? She's like 42 and she's living with 20-something-year-olds with kids and I don't know, that's weird. But yeah, kick her off the lease if she's doing that. She's obviously dead weight and she's causing turmoil in the house. Like, get rid of her. Do the least thing. I say that like it's easy, but you know what I mean? It's like the audacity of this wench to come at you like this when you're busting your butt because of her and her problems. You're doing her. I'm saying if someone was doing me a huge favor like that, I I would have that house clean. I would have food ready for you whenever they're busting your butt. 2 jobs. No, OP, you're not the beehole. Kick her out. Kick her and her kids out. It's gonna, and find someone else who's cool. Yeah, not the beehole. Our next one comes from Fanatic Fan 920. Am I the beehole for lying to a homeless person about not having money on me? And am I stupid for what I did next? I was driving to see a movie and I saw this homeless person in the median of the road between lanes. This is in a suburban slash rural area. There's usually the odd person there every now and again. I couldn't stop anyway. 4 hours later, I'm driving home at 1:30 a.m. and he's still there. I have to turn at his intersection and the light's red, so it's just him and me. Background on me, I'm not very good with sudden and social confrontation, perks of being on the spectrum. So, he's holding up a sign, and I feel like I have to say something to him. Maybe it's just me being a college student thinking, but I just said that I didn't have any money on me, and that I hope he gets some. It's fine so far, I do the same thing. I don't carry cash on me nowadays, it's, cards, but back to it. This is actually true about 90% of the time. Except tonight, I had $8.25 in my wallet. I knew I had money too at the time, and yet that lie ended up just spilling out. The light turned green, and I fled. I drove for a while, but that whole interaction just kept replaying in my head. I found a place to stop and just thought about it. Call it guilt. Call it a calling from God. But something told me to go back there and give him the $8.25. So I go back there, but the guy's not there anymore. It's 2 a.m. at this point. In the end, after waiting around and thinking for a while, I decided to leave the $8.25 under a full water bottle that had been there. Maybe the guy would come back. Maybe another homeless person shacks up there and finds it. Who knows? I'm back home now and wondering if A, am I the beehole for what I did originally, and B, if I'm an idiot for doing what I did next. So I guess this is a combo of am I the beehole and am I stupid, I guess. Never posted on one of these before, so I figured out now it's a good time as any. I'm gonna say you're not the beehole, but this one's kind of weird to me. Maybe because I'm jaded, but I assume every homeless person is just, gonna hop in a really nice car that's better than my car and drive away once they've made their, amount that they wanted to make that day. And what you did is what I normally do, especially it's annoying when you're walking into a store and they run up to you and they're like, "Oh, you wanna this?" Like, no, leave me alone. I just want to go in the store. I'm broke. I just want to buy a chocolate bar and whatever sad thing I need to buy to continue my life. I'll admit you went a little above and beyond with the whole driving back there at, the wee hours of the morning. You don't know what's out there waiting for you, man. You could have put yourself at risk going around at that time, 1 and 2 and all that. I mean, it's $8. Personally, I just wouldn't have given it, but you going back there and leaving it under a water bottle, a little odd, but I think it's kind of nice. Maybe you did do something nice in the world, and maybe it'll come back to you. I hope it does. I'm gonna say you're not the beehole. I'm gonna say you're not an idiot. Just I wouldn't be walking around, at some secluded area at night like that again. Just play it safe. Think about your safety, but not the beehole. And our final one comes from Swimming Cow 7876. Am I the beehole for not getting my daughter anything for her birthday? My daughter turned 13 yesterday. I made sure to ask her what she wants for her birthday, a few months in advance. She gives me a list. Great. I explained she won't be getting everything from the list as it was big and some things were expensive. She understood. About a week after, we had a conversation. She tells me she wants tickets to a show for her birthday. Going to the show would also mean traveling a little out of the city. Neither are cheap. So I told her that this would be the only gift she would get, and it would also replace a party. She said that's what she wants, and I triple checked before I booked the tickets. A couple weeks ago, would you believe she tells me she changed her mind again? She wants clothes instead of the show. What? Who wants clothes? That's stuff you want when you get older. I told her I already booked everything, so there's absolutely no way. She got into a strop about it and said she isn't going. I told her fine, I'll take someone else, fully expecting her to later apologize and say she's coming. But the apology never came. In fact, her attitude got worse and she got into trouble at school. She asked me if I got her the clothes and I told her no. I'm sticking to my word. I didn't think she'd believe me. Well, her birthday came and she realized I wasn't bluffing. I didn't get her any gifts. She was appalled and said I was the worst mother ever. I told her she's learned a valuable lesson. I really wanted to make her birthday special, but she was being awful. Of course, other relatives got her things, but none for me. She told her grandparents her side of the story, which was all, of course, all one-sided, making her out as the victim. They called me, and I explained to them the whole truth. They think I'm awful, and the poor girl needs gifts. What do you mean she needs gifts? You got her a gift. You got her really expensive gift tickets to the show. Needs gifts from her mother. I told him next year will be different if she behaves. Am I the beehole? No, you are not the beehole. You gave her so much more time in advance, months, and you explained it to her like, this is your gift. This takes the place of a party because this is really expensive. Now, this is a great deal for me personally because I hate parties. I don't like being around giant groups of people that I really don't know. So I would usually trade a party for like a console or something like that. Sweet deal, but it sounds like she's more of a social person. But you told her, what would happen, and then you can't just go back on that. I'm pretty sure you can't just refund tickets, right? So yeah, plus like you need to teach her that lesson. When you say you're gonna do something, do it. And I love how she has the grandparents snowed and they're still like telling you things. No, she needs to learn she can't be a brat and get her way. I don't know where the grandparents got the idea that you're not giving her anything. Like you said, and like I said, you got her those expensive tickets. You don't get expensive, you know what I mean? You can't spoil them like that. So, P, no, I'm gonna say you're not the be-all, and yeah, you needed to teach your daughter a lesson. Thank you for making it to the end of the video with me, and can you please do what I said in the beginning? And like, comment, and subscribe. It really and truly does help the channel out, it helps it grow, and it helps you get more videos like this. Velvet out.